Hello and welcome to my channel. I think it's very important for me to explain who I am and why I made this channel and what this channel is about. So first, let's talk about who I am. My name is Corey, and my gaming career or my interest in games started when I was 5 years old. My parents had bought a Nintendo 64. We didn't have a lot of money, so we only had 3 video games for it. They were Monster Truck Racing or some kind of Monster Truck racing game, Star Wars Pod Racing, and Mortal Kombat. The Monster Truck game was probably one of my favorites, and I played it a lot. I played the Gravedigger a lot, and I think that's where my favorite color scheme came from, which was purple and lime neon green, if I recall correctly. Mortal Kombat was not one of my favorite games, as me and my dad used to play it, and he would always beat me. A few years passed, and I got The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. That's pretty much where I started to really understand where I really started to understand video games and their impacts as like story driven games. So I played a lot of Ocarina of Time, and I never could get past the first part. So I was a clever child, even though I wasn't very good at video games. I was very clever, and to remedy the situation, my mom took me to Blockbuster, where I ended up renting Ocarina of Time. And that copy of Ocarina of Time did have a completed save file on it. So I did a 1-for-1 swap with the Blockbuster cartridge, and they took my cartridge and I took their cartridge. No one was none the wiser, although the Blockbuster guy did seem a little bit concerned when he noticed that the Blockbuster sticker was no longer on the cartridge that I gave him. But without any evidence, he couldn't really do anything about it. Plus, Blockbuster was still getting their copy, or not their copy, but a copy of Ocarina of Time in exchange. I played on the Blockbuster copy for a few years. For about 6 months, I played around on the completed save file and had a lot of fun just exploring and experimenting with all the different items. And then later, I would eventually make my own save file, and I ended up beating Ocarina of Time myself, which was a lot of fun and probably most certainly the start of my love and passion for video games. Around the age of 10 or 11 is where I started playing on the computer a lot. I played StarCraft and RuneScape and Black and White. Not the Pokemon Black and White, the God game Black and White, which a lot of people don't know about actually. It is created by Lionhead Studios. They're the same studio that created Fable. And Black and White is one of their less notable games. It wasn't very popular, and it didn't sell as well as I think they thought it would, but to me, it was a masterpiece, and it deserves a lot more recognition than what I got. Unfortunately, Black and White never continued due to EA buying out Lionhead Studios. That was the end of the Black and White and Fable era. But those were the 3 games that I played on computer starting out. StarCraft was a very big game for me. It introduced me to the competitive side of video games. When StarCraft 2 would come out, that would be when I actually got into competitive video games. I would later go on to be Diamond ranked in StarCraft 2 around the age of 16 and 17, and my friend and I would just sit around watching some of my replays, laughing at some of the stupid stuff that I'd do, and we would also watch the StarCraft tournament in MLG. Through the years, I just started building my love for video games, and I always wanted to be a game creator. I would think of all these cool ideas of, what would make the ultimate game or what would be more fun, and me and my friends would experiment with stuff like this, and we'd hash all these ideas and we'd work on video games. Even though we were never successful on releasing any big projects, we did end up releasing one, which I was unfortunately not a part of. I had moved out of the house that me and all my friends were living in at the time, so I was never actually a part of the development of that one game, and I believe it made its way on Newgrounds. It received a little bit of criticism, but at the same time, a lot of people did enjoy what we were trying to go for. So that brings me to what this channel is about. This channel is going to be a Let's Play channel. I will play many different games on it, and I will try to keep a consistent schedule as much as possible. So I may do like a lot of recording all at once, and then just break it down, and then with the broken down segments, I will upload them one by one or use the YouTube scheduling program to make sure that I stay consistent with the schedule that I put out. That way anyone watching can expect to see when one of my videos is supposed to come up. So why I made this channel is kind of hard to talk about because I don't really understand why I'm like this. But basically, around the age of 22, 23, I lost my love, and well, not really my love. I've always been in love with video games, but more so lost my interest in playing video games. I still watch people play them. I still watch League of Legends tournaments. I still watch some Let's Plays like the Hermitcraft series. But as far as playing them myself, I seem to have lost the drive to play video games, and that's actually a concern for me because I do love video games and I want to experience them in their glory, but I can't because I get bored way too easy. A good example of this would be me going out and buying a PlayStation 4, which was rather recent. It was a couple of months ago. I wanted to rekindle that spark that I had for video games. So in an attempt to do so, I decided to break away from my typical buying habits, which was Steam or Nintendo, and go with a different company, which was Sony. I knew that Sony had some exclusives that I was interested in, so Horizon Zero Dawn being the primary exclusive that I was looking forward to playing. I played through Horizon Zero Dawn probably about 3 or 4 hours, maybe a little bit more, in I would say probably about 5 or 6 possibly. And while I did enjoy the aesthetics of it and the gameplay of it, and it felt really natural, it felt really good to control Aloy, I stopped being able to play and I had to put the controller down, and I never ended up picking it back up. So that brings me to why I made this channel. I have 201 video games on Steam and quite a collection of physical stuff on home console. Out of the 201 games that I have on Steam, I probably only played about 20, and only 5 to maybe 6 or 7 of those games have I ever actually completed. So in an attempt to not only rekindle my love for video games, but to also complete my Steam library, and this is a challenge for me, I'm going to record my gameplay and upload it to YouTube on this channel, and it will help me benchmark where I'm at with my games, and it will also help me stay entertained by entertaining people, and hopefully I can finish my Steam library. So how my Steam library playthrough is going to go is, out of the 201 games, I've narrowed it down to about 150 or 160 that are actually playable or worth playing for a channel, and then I divided those up in categories. So I will have RPG days, which will be stuff like Fallout, Skyrim, and The Witcher, and then I will have my regular Steam playthrough, which will just be the regular games that I feel like can be completed within 20 to 40 hours, or about 30 to 40, maybe 60 episodes. And then, to top it off, I do want to play through some of my favorite games. My favorite game, well, not really my favorite game is Final Fantasy IX, for those who want to know. But my favorite series, my favorite franchise is StarCraft. StarCraft is huge to me, and I've always been in love with the story and the gameplay, the mechanics, and just the beautiful cinematic features that come out of StarCraft. That there is so much beauty that comes out of StarCraft, and it's just a wonderful game to play through. And I actually have never completed StarCraft Heart of the Swarm. I've never completed StarCraft 1 Brood War, and I've never completed StarCraft Legacy of the Void. I don't think I ever actually completed the first StarCraft either. So the only StarCraft game that I ever actually beaten was Wings of Liberty. So that is also going to be included in the schedule. How the schedule is going to go would be my Steam library playthrough will be Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then my RPG playthrough will either be Saturday or Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then for StarCraft, we're going to do that on Sunday, and that will be my StarCraft Sundays. The thing about the RPG playthrough is these games are massive. There's a lot to do in these games and a lot to explore. So to help ease the channel a little bit with very long videos, or to help keep the channel saturated with good content, would be to separate these large games from smaller games. And the way I see it is to have these large games played on a separate day. That way I can have consistent movement through my Steam library while still be able to create quality content for any viewers that I may or may not have. But anyways, that's enough about my channel and myself. Obviously, there'll be more to discuss as I'm playing through some of these games, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. If you're new to the channel, I appreciate you stopping by. If you've been here for a little bit and you just didn't know why I was playing video games, then I'm glad that I get to explain it to you now. So with that, thanks for watching, or listening rather, and I hope you enjoyed the background gameplay of whatever game I decided to put up with this. And yeah, have a great one.